today we'll discuss about the version and the journey status, goals, exit criteria, and so on and so forth. So let's start. So let me pick up an existing journey. So let's talk about the version that we have version system. What we can do, we can create, let's say, if this is a running version, we can stop this and then we can have a new version and we can create as many versions as we want. So okay, so before that, let's understand the journey status and then we'll come to the so as you can see that we have different status over here. So stop, running, draft. So what does it mean? So whenever we create a new journey, first of all, we will get a draft status, right? Which is editable. We can make the changes, we can create the journey. And then what we do, we activate the journey and we basically flip the status of the journey into the running status. So once we activate this, then this will become the running journey. And then the running journey can accept the records whenever it is triggered, it can accept the records, it can accept the contacts, and the contacts can go through the journey, right? After that, let's say if you stop the journey, then the version, like the status of the journey becomes stopped. And in the stopped version, our journey cannot accept any other new records. Or like we cannot, insert contact into the stopped version of the journey. Now there's one more status of the journey that is finishing. So generally what we do that whenever you want to start a new like version or whenever you want to activate a new version, like before that we stop the previous version and then only we activate the new version, right? But let's say if we have a previous version running, like version 4 and version 5, like let's say without stopping the version 4, we are activating the version 4. Then that is what will happen, that the previous version will go into the finishing state. So let me show you. So let me go to the version 5 first of all. And let me click on the activate button. We can activate. Here it is the journey. So now we can see that version 4 has gone into the finishing status. Now, what is the difference between the finishing, running, and all this? So we understood that the draft version is the version where we can make the changes, and at a time only one draft version can exist in the journey. So right now we don't have any draft version, so that is why we are getting this option to create a new version. If we had this draft version, then we won't be able to see the option to create a new version in the journey. So at any time, we can only have one draft version. It is the version which is editable and we can make the change. Running version, we understood that it can accept the new contacts and in the running journey, we cannot make. So like this is just a read-only journey now and we cannot make any change over here. Then we have a stopped journey. So stopped journey means that okay, so whenever we stop the journey, there are two things which happens. So first of all, whenever you click on the stop button, all the existing contacts or basically all the contacts that are in the journey, they will be ejected immediately. So let's say we have a couple of activities over here and the contact is still at the decision split and they have not been like moved to the next activity yet. But if we stop the journey, like all the contents will be ejected immediately and they will be out of the journey. And the next one, we have a finishing status. So let's say if we'll start a new version or if we activate a new version without stopping the previous version, then the previous version will go into the finishing state. What does it mean? That the contacts that are there in the journey, they will have a normal exit and they will not be ejected immediately. So let's say we have a use case and we have a scenario where we don't want the contact to exit immediately. So let's say we have this couple of activities over here, and what we need to do, we need to make some modifications, right? But we want that the contract was entered into the journey already, so they will complete their path as usual, and the new contacts we want to enter into the new version of the journey so that they can go through the new activities. But the contact has already entered into the previous version of the journey, so we don't want to disturb them. They will have a normal exit and they will go through all the activities as planned. But let's say in case we have a journey in which we have made some mistake, right? And later on we realize, okay, we have made this mistake and the contacts are, the halfway. So what we want to do, we don't want the contacts to complete their journey. We don't want the contacts to, proceed further. What we can do in that case, we will immediately stop the journey so that all the contacts are ejected immediately and they will not be able to move to the next step. So we have all these four status: stop, finishing, running, and draft, and we understood the differences between them and in which scenario we should do what. Any confusion or any doubts so far in terms of understanding the status? Okay, so we can have only one draft version. We can have only one running version at any given point of time. We can have many stopped version, and also we can have many finishing version as well. And only in the draft version we can make the modifications. So whenever we have a draft version, like we can make the changes and we cannot make the changes in the running version. So whenever we are creating a new version, it is always in a draft status. Okay, so this is what we already talked about. So, and we can create as many versions as we want, and we can click on this new version button, and then we can have all these versions. We can click on this new version dashboard, and we can see um, like the total entries and the status and the version number and the last modified. So why do we need to create a version? So if you want to make some changes or modifications with journey, then we can create a version of it and we can track, okay, what all changes that we have made in the latest version. Next, we have journey analytics. Journey analytics basically shows us the analytics for the email send. Since we do not have any email activity in this journey, so we will go to another journey where we have the email send, and there I'll show you uh, the working of the journey analytics. So let's say this one. So we click on this journey analytics. Okay, I think the email was not sent to anybody, so that is that is not showing. Basically, it shows the opens, clicks, bounce, unsubscribes, totals, and the limit. These kind of things. And here also, whenever we click on any of the email message, uh, then also we can say basically the email activity. We can see the different engagement methods. So let's change the time frame. Okay, so it is showing not sent one. I think the email was not sent for some reason. So here we can see the email performance. the deliveries of unscrews and subscribes and set performance and increased forward to a friend. So the same thing that we are able to see in the studio, we can see over here in the journey builder as well. Now, okay. Now you'll have to tell me, I mean, let me ask you a question that let's say we have a requirement where client wants to, measure the performance of the journey, right? How do we measure a performance like in our real life? So let's say I have a goal that I need to complete this book. Let's say I need to complete this book by the end of this month. So what I'll do that if I want to measure my performance on a daily basis, I'll say that okay, what is the completion? I mean, what is the uh, goal and how much percentage I have completed in a day, right? So let's say I need to complete 100 pages of this book by the end of this month, and I'll see that okay, I have read 10 pages. It means I have completed 10% of my goal. And tomorrow, let's say again 5 pages. So it means 15% of the goal I have completed, right? So this is how we measure the performance whenever we make our goal or whenever we have anything that we want to analyze, that we want to track. So this is how we can track it. So it is no different in Journey Builder. So in journeys, we also have goals. So many a times, let's say if you talk about a payment reminder journey, so client wants to know that okay, we had inserted let's say 100 customers, who were supposed to make the payment before the due date, and I want to measure the performance that how this journey is performing, right? Is this journey really doing that what we expected? So is the journey really like encouraging the users, encouraging the customers to pay the amount before due date or not, or how much percentage we have achieved uh, from the goal. So how we can do that? So we have this. Okay. So we'll talk about the scroll. Um, Okay, so in goal, what we need to do, so first of all, we need to apply a criteria that if this criteria is true, for example, if I take the same example that if I am able to complete my book by the end of this month, it means my goal is complete. So we have to have a criteria that if this condition is true, it means we have achieved the goal. So let's say we have Amazon customer data model, right? Amazon customers and then we have payment status. Okay. So what we want to do is that we want that payment status should be complete for all the contacts. It means my I have achieved the goal, or basically the journey has achieved its goal. Now there could be a possibility that the client is saying that okay, out of 100 subscribers, even 50 subscribers pay the amount, it means I have achieved the goal, right? So goal cannot be, let's say, 100%, right? Goal could be let's say even 10% pay the amount, then I have achieved my goal. So here we can define the percentage or the number of the total people that if this percentage of the population meets this criteria, I'll say that I have achieved my 100% of goal. So for now, I'll just make it 100%, that when 100% of the population will make the payment, then only I'll say that I have achieved my goal. Okay. So here we have a checkbox called exit option. So what does it mean? That whenever a customer reaches the goal, or basically whenever a customer achieves the goal, we want the customer to make the exit. We don't want the customer to stay in the journey anymore, because if they have made the payment, we don't want to contact them, or we don't want that contact in the journey anymore. For now, I'll uncheck this checkbox and I'll keep this as it is. We will understand the exit option in detail with the different functionality. Okay. So for now, what our requirement is that we need to define a goal that all the customers should make the payment before the due date, and if they do so, it means they have achieved the goal. So, mm, so we have defined the goal over here. If you want to remove the goal, we can click on this link, remove goal, and it will be removed. So I'll click on the done button for now, and let me see. And if you have noticed that in the goal, we basically select the contact data because contact data is a live data, and we need to evaluate that whether like what is the current status of the payment, right? Otherwise, if we had taken the journey data, it would have shown the same results. It would have shown the same goal percentage throughout the journey. So let's go to data extensions. So we already have marked a few of the customers as payment status as completed. So that is why we will get the percentage. So in the interest of time, what I'm doing is that I'm just marking them as completed so that the goal criteria can be evaluated immediately and we will get the goal percentage. Otherwise, what will happen that otherwise, what will happen if we'll only allow the customers having the pending status, and when they will like when the status will become the completed, then we will have the goal percentage. So this might take some time. So just to show you that how it works, so I'm allowing all the contacts to enter into the journey for now. Okay, so these contacts will enter into the journey, and then we will have the scroll criteria. So let me delete this thing. Just have a random split for now so that we save this. Um, so basically, the goal is always like, I mean, if we talk about, I want to evaluate the goal, right? That how much percentage I have completed. So I'm not going to do this every minute in the entire day, right? So I'll have to, schedule. I'll have to think of a time wherever, like whenever I'll make this evaluation that how many percentage I have achieved of my goal. So whenever a customer reaches a wait activity, then only what will happen, the goal will be validated. So whenever the customer will reach to this wait activity, the goal will be validated, and based on that, we will see the goal percentage. So it cannot happen that at any given point of time, or let's say randomly, like it is evaluating the goal. So whenever it reaches the wait activity, then only the goal will be validated. So let me see the changes for you. And let me stop the previous version. Okay, so this version is activated now. And when the content will enter into this journey, we will see that whenever they will reach the wait activity, the whole pattern will be evaluated, and based on that, we will see the percentage of the whole. So let's wait for a few seconds. Okay, so whenever we have configured the goal in the journey, so you will see this, percentage bar, that the number of the customers that have achieved this goal or have reached this goal, and the percentage of the customers, and basically the percentage of the goal that this journey has achieved. So we can see the four, like all the four customers have reached this activity, activity. So once they will close this activity, we will have this criteria. So meanwhile this happens, let's create a new version and then talk about the exit criteria, and it will happen in a minute. Okay, so let's say our requirement is that whenever a condition is met, let's say whenever they make the payment, what we want to do, that we want them to exit the journey, right? So in the previous example, what we had seen is that we also want to measure the performance of the journey, and also we have this option to make the content exit from the journey. Now, let's say we don't want to measure the performance. What we want is that we want to have an exit criteria. Whenever this criteria is met, we want the content to exit the journey. So that's it. So what we can do, we can have this functionality called exit criteria defined. We can give a name, let's say, um, payment from at exit contact payment, something like this. And then we can click on the next button. We have to define the criteria. So I'll define the same criteria that whenever the payment status is equals to completed. Click on done and click on next. We click on done. I'll say the changes. Now let's go to the previous version and see whether we are able to see the goal percentage or not. Okay, let's wait for a few more minutes. Sometimes it might take some time to show the percentage. Like in this journey, it is showing 33%, right? So similarly, it will show over here 75%. Okay, so let's go to the option number 7. So here we have this exit criteria defined. So what will happen whenever the content will reach to the wait activity, like the exit criteria will be evaluated, and if they meet the exit criteria, then all those contacts will exit from the journey. So